Hi, today we're going to learn how to use VPN to stay secure and private online. Wow, this is a tough job. Just kidding. When you use NordVPN, all it takes is just a single click. See for yourself. Click, and you're browsing securely on public Wi-Fi. Click, your ISP can't see what you do online. Click, and you're in a different country. Well, virtually. Any device you have there, NordVPN has you covered. Everything else is just details. But if you care to know more, NordVPN has more than 5,000 servers all over the world. It protects your sensitive data with advanced encryption, shields you from malware and phishing sites, and keeps no logs of your online activity.
Click link in the description and get 68% discount for your first order. Preparing to board. The downtown Disney monorail location is relatively far from both parking lots, but is conveniently located a few minutes' walk from the Disneyland Hotel. Go through the bag and ticket check for the monorail ride. You will need to have your bags checked for weapons and security issues along with alcohol and other prohibited items if boarding from downtown Disney. You won't need to present these again since you already did before park entry if boarding from Disneyland. Your park ticket and slash or hand stamp will be checked for valid entry if boarding from downtown Disney. Walk up the ramp to the waiting area just before the train platform. There will often be a gate at the top where passengers will be waiting for the next monorail to arrive. Another cast member will be stationed there to help organize passengers waiting to board. The Disneyland monorail has a capacity lower than the monorail trains at Walt Disney World, so if it's busy, you may have to wait for several trains to pass through the station before you can board. Wait in line for your monorail train to arrive. Depending on when you arrive, you may end up waiting for 10 minutes for your train to arrive. Wait for the train to come to a complete halt and for the exiting passengers to exit. They will often be exiting near the entrance. Note the color of the train only in case you lose anything on board. Disneyland monorail trains have one of three colors: red. However, if you leave anything on the train, it can help to note the color. Lost items can be picked up from Disneyland City Hall just inside Main Street, USA, just after you pass under the Walt Disney Railroad Main Street station. Wait for the aluminum white safety gate to open before crossing the platform and walking up to the train. There may be cast members there to open the gates to allow passengers to board. However, sometimes, especially during the morning and nighttime rush, they will open and close this gate remotely. Unlike monorails at Walt Disney World, Disneyland monorails only have one side that their doors open on, so expect to wait for those exiting guests before boarding. Walk up and into the train once it's clear to board. Once you enter, take your seat and remain seated until the monorail comes to a halt. As a courtesy to others, make sure to walk all the way to the end of the route if you are the first passenger to enter the monorail. If you wish to sit in the front or back cabin, you will need to ask a cast member. But keep in mind that the front cabin's capacity is 4 people, and it isn't handicapped accessible, with an often tight fit. If you need help boarding a car, ask a cast member for help. They will often have a handicapped accessible ramp that will make entry easier for you. When the time comes to exit, you'll need to stand near the door and wait for another cast member to help you deboard if necessary. Listen to all safety announcements. As the train exits the monorail station, a message over the PA system will remind you to make a note of the train color. All announcements will be made in both Spanish and English. Watch the monorail doors as they close. The train will then begin moving forward. On the ride, listen to the overhead narration in the PA system. As you ride past the Grand Californian Resort's back and throughout the ride, you will hear a narration of what you see out the left and right windows. As the train enters Disneyland, you will see rides near the train in Fantasyland and Tomorrowland Autopia, the Finding Nemo submarine ride, and many others, as well as Matterhorn Mountain, the site of the bobsled roller coaster ride. The train will also ride along the front edge of the Disney California Adventure Park, and you will see Grizzly Peak, Buena Vista Street, and Hollywoodland. The Disneyland monorail system never enters buildings. The Disneyland monorail doesn't show too much of downtown Disney as it nears and exits the station. Allow the train to come to a complete stop when it arrives at the station. Wait for the instructions to exit the monorail. Remember to take your park ticket with you if you are deboarding at downtown Disney, as you will need it to reboard the monorail later. Often a cast member will re-stamp your hand with a UV-compatible ink if you are deboarding at downtown Disney. During busy or peak hours, the Disneyland monorail won't allow you to travel round trip. You will be asked to disembark the monorail and go through the line again for re-entry. Head out the door of the monorail and follow signage to the exit. These signs will often be found to the entry queue's right, but you may have to look around if you don't initially spot them.